Hey, what's up, guys? Happy holidays from Movie Files. You got Elliott here, Morgan, and
Morgan.
as you can see from the title, we are here to give you our thoughts and our review for the movie Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. So, welcome to this video, and let's jump right into it. Alrighty, guys. So, as we do with our videos, as you guys have seen, we like to keep it as spoiler free as possible. So, we're going to definitely keep that to a minimum with our spoilers. But we really want to touch on the cast, the characters in the movie, a little bit on the story without giving away too much detail. And then also just our thoughts on the franchise. Was it a worthy sequel to the original 1995 version of Jumanji? Because this isn't a reboot, this was a sequel. And then our thoughts as far as the score goes. So, with that being said, our cast. Great cast. We got Dwayne, aka The Rock Johnson, who is like my hero other than Will Smith. The Rock is the man. If you're watching this, you know you're awesome, Dwayne. You got Karen Gillan, who is great, and as Nebula in the franchise Guardians of the Galaxy, and also I've seen her in Oculus, that horror film that came out many years ago. So she has a really good background. My boy Kevin Hart, we got a chance to see him a couple years ago when he was in Iowa for his What Now tour. Hilarious. I follow him on Instagram. I mean, Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart. I mean, he's just an awesome guy. And then the great Jack Black. You know, we just watched School of Rock a couple nights ago, and man, I love that movie, and I love Jack Black. It's good to see him back in the front of the camera. So with that, I mean, what did you think about the cast? Besides the characters, which we'll get into, but what did you think about the cast that we got?
So I was immediately excited to learn of who was going to be in the movie. Obviously, knowing that Jumanji is coming back for a sequel, it's like, whoa, it's been a really long time, over 20 years. So, you know, that is always like, oh, how are they going to do that? And then obviously with Robin Williams, it's like, how are they going to pay homage and things like that? But when I found out, you know, that The Rock, Kevin Hart, Jack Black was going to be in it, I was like, all right, this should
your boy
really.
Nick Jonas, Nick
yes,
Jonas, which...
hey. He's so cute.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you know, I just immediately knew, especially with those three, you know, we have seen Jack Black. It's been a while since he's been in a blockbuster film.
Correct me if I'm wrong, leave it in the comment section, but I think Goosebumps was maybe his last bigger.
And that was actually film. It was a cute movie, but yeah, it's been a while since we've seen him around. So I was really excited for that. And then Kevin Hart, like Elliott said, we've seen him in stand-up. And obviously his stand-up and his movie, they're different people, because he's Kevin Hart in his stand-up and he's a character in a movie.
Correct.
But anyway, it was really exciting to see him and The Rock back together again after seeing Central Intelligence. We just thought that was so funny. And they really played,
you know, whatever.
Cheesy,
but
whatever.
Their chemistry was what
their
made
chemistry
the movie.
is so good. So already knowing that, they just have this like back and forth fun banter, like kind of like brothers, or like, you know, siblings, cousins. So I just had a feeling with the cast, it's like they're not going to be able to do much wrong here. I immediately felt good about it.
And we'll jump into the characters, but something that you brought up was a little nervous, because when you get these sequels, not a reboot, but a sequels, because the last few years you got the Goosebumps, which was a reboot, but then they tried to make it a sequel. It just didn't work out, which ultimately the movie kind of was hurt by that, because you didn't know what we were getting into. But with this one, this was a direct sequel, and we'll get into the story in a little bit, and as well as the characters. But I thought that they did a good job of injecting their new type of feel to the Jumanji world, but at the same time paying homage to the original 1995 version. So with that, you know, our characters, you know, we got The Rock, which played the Spencer character, which was kind of and again, you can see this from the trailer, so no spoilers there, but kind of the nerdy, quiet, nerdy guy, kept to
smart,
himself. And then you have what was her name? Martha. She was kind of just shy, really kept to herself, didn't really want to interact with people. She just wanted to go to school, get her degree, you know, get done with school and just move on with her life. Then you had Kevin Hart's character, which was Fridge, kind of the jock, the football player who really,
ladies man, kind of. Yeah.
Him and Spencer have a bit of a relationship, and you know, as you guys have seen from the movie, but you know, he's kind of the jock and kind of, you know, making Spencer do things for him, homework, you know, just a stereotypical type of Breakfast Club type of a vibe there. And then Jack Black played, the Jack Black character played Bethany, which was kind of all
as
about herself, you know, taking selfies every time she gets a chance, always on the phone in class. So definitely kind of the preppy, more, you know, type of character. So as the characters have it, I thought that they worked really well. Like all of the characters from The Rock to, you know, the only one I will say Kevin Hart, and I think this was the first movie I can think of that Kevin Hart played more of Kevin Hart as we know him versus playing, like you said, a character. Where their characters, like I didn't get that much comedy from the Fridge character as you got from Kevin Hart. So that was the only one.
Not much comedy. Different. You don't get really any comedy from Fridge.
Or even the kids in general. Really, they're just kind of, you know, they have their own.
Bethany, a little bit from Bethany. Yeah. She was sillier as like her normal self, but Fridge just no funnies at all.
Yeah, which I said for that particular character, I thought Kevin Hart played more on his being Kevin Hart versus like The Rock played Spencer pretty well.
Yeah,
you know,
he did. Rock, he really emulated
and I thought
Spencer
Martha
character.
too really played a good version of herself.
And honestly, Martha, the young Martha, and then Karen Gillan,
they kind of look like each other.
She
too.
literally,
like
I think she could grow up to look like Karen Gillan. Right. So they did a nice
job. Which, I mean,
job.
that wasn't the point of having them look like their characters. They didn't know what they looked like when they were playing a video game, but they just from
it wasn't like
scenes,
they were growing up into these people.
I could see
Avatar.
Like I don't know Karen as a person, obviously, but it seems like that she and that Martha, the actress that played Martha, probably. And then
I think probably my favorite though, like who really just embodied that kid was Jack Black.
Oh yeah, Bethany. She stole it. Jack Black.
Stellar job of playing Bethany. Like I really felt like it was Bethany in his body. I
don't know
like
if we got their age, but you know, a 16. You think of a stereotypical 16-year-old girl who's growing up with social media that she's always on her phone. Yeah, he played that too.
And they did a nice job too. It's kind of odd, I guess. Like you have this group of kids, right? And then they turn into these avatars. Like they did a nice job of like really like acting like they knew each other out of those avatars. It was really, I thought they did such a good job, really just embodying those characters and becoming them. And
then we also got the Nick Jonas character who played Alex, who didn't have a lot to do. More the second to third act he was involved, but I thought he did a good job. And then also the secondary characters you had, which we'll talk a little bit about the story. The villain, we didn't get much. But again, that's not what this movie was about. It was more the characters in Jumanji and being in the jungle. So, but overall, I thought all the characters worked. And then we'll talk a little bit about the story, which again, we don't want to give too much away. I think that was probably, I wouldn't say, for me, it was the weakest part. Because, I mean, it wasn't like a super thought out type of storyline. It was very vague, very basic story. From the trailer, they obviously get injected into the world, which the whole Jumanji board game being now a video game was a little, again.
Yeah, it didn't really work for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you do got to take that particular part of your brain, like, okay, this is the movie that we're getting. We don't have to dive deep into it. But yeah, how they kind of created the video game was a little like, okay. And also, too, they played with a little bit, I guess, I'll have to revisit Jumanji, because as far as, there's a particular part in the movie where they kind of play with time, and I can't remember if they did this in the original Jumanji where the timelines didn't match up, and how long when you're in that world Jumanji versus when you're gone from the real world, how that plays out and what effects can that do. They didn't really explain that. Again, you don't have to in this particular movie, but as a fan of movies, you just want to have some things explained.
It didn't really work for me the way they kind of played with the time travel aspect of it.
Like I said, missing how long you're in that world versus when you're in the real world, how long you've been missing. So that part didn't work out too well. But besides,
But I think though, really, like what this movie was trying to, and see, I think it's so cool because I was in 95 when the original movie came out. I was 4, but I grew up with this movie, and I just think it's so cool now to like have my nieces and nephews who are about the age I was when the original movie came out. Some are a little older. Like now they're going to be able to grow up with Jumanji as a part of their childhood. And Jumanji was just such a good movie. I remember like being so excited when it was on TV. I don't think I ever owned the movie,
all the time
but
on TBS,
like I just would get so excited, and even as an adult, like there's those times it's like, oh, the nostalgic part of it. So I just think that's really cool. But I really feel like this movie, what it was trying to like get across is just like being happy with who you are, being content with who you are. And it had a big teamwork aspect to it. To me, I think
different cultures, different backgrounds, different people.
I just think it really, for me, the meaning behind the movie was, being comfortable and loving who you are, and then also just knowing like, you you're not in this journey alone. You don't have to do things by yourself. And it is all about camaraderie and teamwork and just having a community of people surrounding you. Yeah. No matter how big that community is or how small, it's just, so that's really what it meant for me. So even though the villain didn't really work for me, the time travel a little bit didn't work, I think what I loved so much about it was just the character development, because they did develop in their avatars too. And it was, I don't know if you would call it a coming of age movie, but they learned a lot about themselves too.
No, it's a lot of self-discovery.
And how they would kind of go forward in life. So anyway, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, you know, like Morgan said, that they do touch on character elements and just, you know, you can be in any part of your life, being comfortable with yourself and sticking to yourself too. Because, I mean, you have these, like the Spencer character, kind of, you know, not a bigger stature type of guy and injected in The Rock's body. And, you know, just playing with that element of, you know, eventually when you become an adult, you might, in high school, you might have been a smaller kid who didn't have many friends, but you grow up and become this popular person.
And even Fridge. I mean, Kevin Hart, he's pretty muscly, right? But Fridge, he's like this tall jock kind of dude, and then he's like 2 feet shorter than his normal self, so he's like and then even with Karen's character, you know, she was more reserved, and then she turns into this like Laura Croft kind of character, and then Bethany, who's like super vain and just into herself, she turns into a chubby middle-aged white man, you know what I mean? So it was just really cool. They kind of learned about themselves, and then, you know, kind of built a friendship.
Yeah, and I mean, too, and we'll wrap up here too, but as far as, you know, the story, I think one of the biggest things I walked away with this film was the comedy aspect. You know, it wasn't you know, sometimes we get this bigger cast that are known for comedy, they overplay the comedy, but I thought this was a really well done, entertaining PG-13 film. I'm glad they came out in December. I think originally when this film was in its pre-production stage, I think originally it was going to be a summer movie, which it could have worked, but it would have got sucked into the Wonder Womans and the Logans, and would have just probably got lost in the mix of all the films that we got in the summer. So I think it was a perfect time. And they do touch on Christmas a little bit in this film. You get the idea that it was a holiday time of the year, which they might have changed that during reshoots, but I think it was a perfect time to come out.
And we actually saw it on Christmas
with
Day
her family,
with my family.
Which was a good touch as well, which
I mean, the movie theater was jam-packed. We literally had to sit in the second row to the screen, which I kind of was being a little brat about, but it was jam-packed, and it was such a good like family movie. Although I will say PG-13,
that's the cutoff line. I wouldn't say kids under 13.
There were kids under 13 in the movie, and there's just some things where it's like maybe it's not super appropriate.
Yeah, there's so you have your poop jokes for kid movies, but it takes it to the next level. With some jokes that are a little bit more mature for mature audience.
I don't even know if I'd take a 13-year-old to see it. Maybe
the 13-year-olds now are definitely different than what you think.
That's why we're not having children.
But anyway, I thought that it was a good, and we'll talk about, you know, we'll just jump right into our score. So we do have a new scoring system, which you guys can see in the description below. So on a scale of 1 to 5, you know, I'll give it a 3. I thought it was a good movie. It was a good, entertaining movie, great for the holidays. I wouldn't say this is a movie I would probably revisit. You know, if it's on TV, I'll watch. I don't think it's something I'll buy, because I think once you see it, it's like, okay, but I don't think it has that memorable scenes or things I'm like, I have to buy it because I just love that particular moment. Again, it's a funny movie, but when I guess me personally, when I buy a comedy, like it has to have those memorable lines or like those things you can repeat. And this movie didn't have that type of element to it. It was just a good, funny, good time at the theater.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3.5. It definitely got a lot of laughs out of me. That was the one thing I liked about it. Like Elliott said, you know, sometimes it's like the comedy is overplayed. Now this, I felt like I laughed probably 95% of the movie. There were a lot of really great funnies, but it all worked.
Excuse me.
And I don't know. I mean, I might buy it. I thought it was cute.
Again, sure.
But there's going to be a lot of you watching this that are going to want to buy it, I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a cute movie, good cast, good chemistry. And then overall, I think it sent a good message.
The themes they had. I think and with a lot of movies these days, it could have slimmed down maybe about 10 to 15 minutes of the film. There's a particular part in the film, in the middle of the film, that they introduce a certain character, and it kind of took the momentum kind of stepped back a little bit, and that particular person's storyline was okay, but
I think I would always say you can probably shave at least 15 minutes off.
And honestly, now I think about it, even though, no spoilers here, but there's a particular character that's injected in the film halfway through. That storyline could have been out of it. Not the more I think about it, it really didn't.
I think what they were trying to do was calling back to the original. And I think that's a way that they paid homage, and they did pay homage to Robin Williams, and I liked it. I'm interested to hear how you guys felt about it though too, because obviously he's so iconic and
he's a legend.
So in that movie is, you know, such a well-known movie of his. So I'd be interested to hear you guys' thoughts. But I thought that they did a nice job with paying homage. But I see where you're coming from, but I definitely think that they did that to, like you said, tie into
play a little bit of the
original Jumanji.
So as you guys can see, 3 for me, 3.5 for Morgan out of 5. Definitely something to go check out.
Go see it, go see it with your family. I would recommend seeing it in the movie theater. It was a cool movie. It was funny too. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you get into this time of the year, you want to enjoy. Obviously, you have the big heavy hitter Oscar-winning movies. It can sometimes be a little sad and a little depressing, but this is definitely the time of the year when you have those great comedies. In the last couple of years, we've gotten Sisters and Pitch Perfects of the world, which again have those themes. They're just good, fun time in the theater. But I think this movie did a good job of
better than any
comedy.
of those could do.
So, but again, guys, we do these videos to give our opinions, but we'd love to know what you guys thought of Jumanji if you've seen it. If you haven't, did our review give you a better idea of what you're going to get into? So we would love to know what you guys thought of the film. Again, I guess I think this is a well worth sequel. I thought that they did a good job of making a sequel. At first, when we heard it, we were like, we'll see what we get into, but the package we got, I'm happy with it. I think they did a good job of
it's just so scary, like when they do a sequel 20 plus years later.
You get some hit or misses, like Blade Runner for me worked, but then you have some movies that are sequels that don't work, like Ghostbusters.
They did a good job. So I recommend checking it out.
Definitely. But we would love to continue the conversation on our social media accounts. As you guys can see below here, we're on Instagram at Movie Files. You can find us at Twitter at Movie Files Live, and also Stardust app. Where you get your 30-second kind of clips of reactions to certain trailers and movies. So check us out at Movie Files on the Stardust app. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. We will have more videos coming on the way to you guys soon. We have Call Me By Your Name, Shape of Water, some other stuff, Lady Bird, and then we're going to have our top 10s list coming out here in the next few weeks. So definitely keep an eye on that. But as usual, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys again shortly. Hey, what's up, guys? If you enjoyed that video, do us a favor and hit the thumbs up button, and also share this video for all of those movie fans out there. And then also, guys, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. As you guys see right here, hit that little button to subscribe to our channel. Check out more movie reviews that we have done, also TV shows that we have done, and also you can check out our monthly series where we do a movie bucket list. So definitely subscribe to our channel. And again, thanks for watching.